What's up, guys? David Land here, bringing you another Diecast review, and this one is really special. This is on a pair of Dan Gurney's Eagles, particularly the Mark V chassis that raced in the 1996 Kart World Series, Kart IndyCar World Series as it was called then. That's another discussion for why it wasn't called IndyCar the next year. But without getting into all the politics and BS, these are amazing pieces of diecast. I got them both combined for $57. That's less than a current day IndyCar diecast you can get for, and I bought these two 20-year-old cars for $57. At a flea market, I saw them, my jaw hit the floor, and then when I saw that they were $30 each, my jaw hit went through the floor at that point. An unbelievable score, unbelievable deal. I'll never get that lucky ever again to get the pair of Dan Gurney Eagles. That's amazing, amazing. These are beautiful models. They're produced by, and it's kind of weird because the box says one thing and the bottom of the car says another thing. So I'm going to say they're produced by UT Models, which I have no idea what that is. I've never bought a car from them before, but it also says they're produced by Minichamps, and I'm actually familiar with Minichamps because they now produce the Formula One diecast, but I'm not sure if it's a Minichamps car or UT Models, or UT Models is a subdivision of Minichamps. It's kind of weird, but anyway, just a fantastic score. We've got two cars here. The 36 car is Juan Manuel Fangio II, and the 98 car is PJ Jones. So they ran two cars throughout the 1996 season, but Fangio ran the full season. PJ ended up running like a partial season, probably because they didn't have the second chassis ready. The Eagle chassis was like a development program for the new Toyota engine, which was new for 1996 in IndyCar racing. So this car was not particularly successful. Fangio had a couple 10th place finishes, or top 10 finishes, but it never won a race. And in fact, they actually ditched this chassis for a Reynard the next couple years before going back to the Eagle chassis in 1999. At the end of 1998, and then the full 1999 season. The interesting thing about the Eagle chassis, and the thing that I'm so happy to get these cars, is for IndyCar racing, this is the last, what I consider the last privately designed, built, and manufactured and raced chassis by just a regular Joe, a team trying to build their own chassis and race it in IndyCar competition. In fact, Dan Gurney did this longer than Roger Penske did. Roger Penske ended up ditching his Penske chassis for a Lola and then later a Renard chassis. So this is the last of the old way of doing things in IndyCar racing, where a team built their own chassis, bought an engine or made an engine deal, and went racing. Unfortunately, those days are long behind us with the spec cars. But I'm glad to have these represented in diecast form, and man, I can't wait to show these cars off. We'll do Fangio first. We'll kind of show off the details of the Eagle chassis, and then we'll also show you PJ Jones's car, because there are some subtle differences between the two of them, but man, these are beautiful pieces of diecast. So, we'll do a quick cut, and this is David Land on YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't already. Probably won't be quite as cool for other videos as this one, but you should subscribe anyway, and let's get into this review. Actually, the first thing we should take a look at is the box. Beautiful artwork on this box. It's not like a window box. In fact, the car comes into a screwed-in piece of foam, which is on the inside. You may hear like the guts, the screws rolling around in there as I turn it over, because I've just got the screws in there. I'll probably put the cars back in the box at some point. As you can see, Minichamps IndyCar collection, but it's produced by UT Models. So if somebody has any more details, please let me know in the comments section below. That's interesting. IndyCar and the helmet logo are trademarks of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway under the exclusive license of Championship Auto Racing Teams. Whoops. But anyway, I'm not sure how these got made. It seems like they were potentially commissioned by Toyota, but it's just fantastic that they exist because there's just some great artwork on these on the box. And this is how you tell the difference between the two boxes. They have a little sticker, and you can tell whether the car is PJ Jones or it's Juan Manuel Fangio. This is the box for Fangio, which is the car we're about to take a look at. And then you just get another picture of the Eagle Mark V. This one says UT Models on it. This one says Minichamps. Again, I'm completely confused as to the difference. So here is Fangio's car. You can see Jones's car in the background there. We're going to get that out of the way because it's in the way of the light. But yeah, this is Fangio's car. There's some really cool details on this car. A lot different than a lot of people are used to. We'll just kind of go around the car. I'll move it around and you can take a look at the details for yourself, and then I'll kind of point out some things. But just, this is kind of like the perfect IndyCar design. I mean, it just looks perfect. I mean, this is just how race cars need to look because it's just fantastic in terms of how just the perfectly proportioned racing car. Just everything's right. There's no stupid bumpers. There's no gigantic wings on it. The wings are fairly well proportioned, especially because this is the road racing version of the car. It's not like it's the oval version, which the wings would be tiny, tiny, tiny. No bumpers, obviously, and just a nice, nice looking car. Nice pointy nose, just everything right. Nice low pointy nose too. Just perfect. So a fantastically represented model, and it is absolutely an Eagle design. You can tell the Eagle design because it has the swept back side pods that the Reynard chassis had, but the kind of conventional IndyCar nose that the Lola had. The difference also between the Eagle and the Reynards and the Lolas is it kind of had this circular rollover hoop. You can kind of see it. Kind of a short, squat rollover hoop. Beautiful, beautiful design. And then there's Fangio's helmet, which is actually different than Jones's. It's a different design. It's got that kind of cool 90s era aerodynamic helmet, which I think ended up banned for whatever reason, but it's really cool. And then you've got the Argentine flag, or the Argentinian flag, however you pronounce that, not entirely sure. Number 36, Denso. Now, looking at photos, this is the only time I've seen the Denso logo like this. I'm not exactly sure which livery this is attempting to recreate or represent. It may just be a combination of several liveries throughout the years. And this is a little part of the car that I really like on old Indy cars, is these little these wings ahead of the inlets on the side pods. For whatever reason, I think that's really cool. Both the Reynards and the Lolas of this era did that. And then you move further back in the car, and you've got these little, just a little bit of a deflector in front of the rear wheels. Nothing too major. Goodyear tires, fantastic detail in the wheels, or on the wheels. They just look fantastic. And there's the rear wing, which actually has a wicker on it, which is really cool. Or I shouldn't say a wicker. I'm reviewing a Dan Gurney car. I sound like Bobby Unser. This is a Gurney flap. A Gurney flap on the rear wing. And then you've got another defining trait of the Eagle, which is this curved this curved wing mounting unit there. The Lolas and the Reynards were a bit more straight. Then you've got the gearbox housing back here, along with the little brake light, or not a brake light, but a yellow flag light, or a I'm slowing down, I'm in real big trouble light. And then you've got some exhaust detailing back there, and the detailing of the under tray. Fantastic, fantastic. You've got the pop-off valve, very controversial back in the day. And then we'll move further to the front of the car. You've got also the fuel buckeye there, which is on this side of the car, which is interesting. Also, UT Models and Minichamps are swapped on the side. Those never actually were there in real life, from what I can tell. Then you've got these little aerials here, which would be where the radios would go. Black mirrors on this car. Now this is going to be hard to film, but you do have cockpit detailing, which is really cool, and mirrors. So really neat, and that's both ways on this car. But one of the coolest things about this car is that, let's see if I can get it to work. Yeah, the steering actually works. Kind of hard to do. But yeah, the steering actually works on the car. And then you've got, actually, I think I knocked the wheel off. So I'll fix that here in a second. You've got the front wing, very nice looking. You've got this is the famous part of the car, the eagle nose. Very, very cool. Actually, let's not go to PJ's car just yet. For those of you whom I gave a heart attack to, I did fix the wheel. I just pulled a couple tweezers there, and I pulled the wheel back into place. I didn't break it off. Remember, these are 20-year-old models, so they do have their quirks. But I did not break the car. What I was trying to show you was just how the wheel turns. So it's probably better just to do this. And the steering wheel moves a little bit. It does it better on my PJ car. But there's also a couple more details I wanted to show off really quick. Because this is a road racing car, you've got these big brake inlets, which are on both sides of the car, or both ends of the car. Just a great detail. I mean, this is just fantastic detailing. Thankfully, I didn't break the car, so I was really worried about that. I thought I did. That was just some exciting video making there. But yeah, definitely just an iconic paint scheme. And now for real, let's take a look at PJ Jones's car. So of the two paint schemes, this is my favorite one. It's just subtly different, but in my opinion, it's a better paint scheme. There's not a whole lot to go over, so we'll just take a look at the details that are different between this car and the Fangio car. Right off the bat, you've got the All-American Racers logo on the rear wing, which is not on Fangio's car for whatever reason, and the Goodyear logo is smaller. Of course, you've got all the same decals down the side, except for UT Models and Minichamps are different, and you've got PJ Jones on the car along with the IndyCar logo. Well, that's there on the Fangio car, but you also get the American flag. Then you get the 98, and which I forgot to mention on the Fangio car, the 36 is a Toyota number, and interestingly enough for PJ, they didn't use a Gurney number. They used the 98, which is the Agajanian number, which Parnelli was so famous for. His father, Parnelli Jones, winning the 1963 Indianapolis 500 and several championship car or IndyCar races back in the day. So here is PJ's helmet, which is different. It's the more conventional kind of circular helmet. It's got American Racing wheels, which I think is Parnelli's company. So you've got daddy's money there, even though I think PJ was pretty talented in his own right and got this ride based on the fact that he did so well with Toyota and Gurney in GTP racing, which is the same reason that Fangio got the ride as well. Fangio was dynamite in the GTP prototypes. So there's the 98 again. Similar on that car. Just turn it around so you can see the Minichamps on that side, and then the All-American Racers symbol on that side. Again, just an iconic scheme, especially with that little eagle nose. I mean, that's so cool. I mean, it's a simple paint scheme, but this part right here is just so cool. Just so cool. And then you've got, of course, the brake caliper detailing there. And these wheels, of course, do turn as well. I'm not going to play with it too much because I don't want to have an oopsie like I did with the Fangio car. But yeah, just fantastic. I love the detailing with the suspensions. That's from all the photographic evidence I could tell. That's exactly where it goes. But yeah, this was like one of the most photographed cars. Not this one particularly because it was always at the back. But when they started running the Reynards, man, like they were featured in every IndyCar racing magazine. Like cover photo. They were like every cover, like every story they did about the race, whether it finished 10th or didn't even make the start of the race because the Toyota engine grenaded on the pace lap. Like this was the cover car because I mean it was just so Murica. Just a fantastic paint scheme. Love it, love it, love it. I'm so glad to have these two cars. So let's get these cars back together again and give you some final thoughts because these are just fantastic cars. So there you have it, probably the best diecast score I'll ever get. Certainly the best one this year, hands down. I will not get a better diecast deal unless maybe I find a Buddy Lazier Indy 500 winning 118 for like, $50 or something like that. Yeah, that would probably be the better deal. But just fantastic. I mean, wow. I'm going to start collecting these Minichamps IndyCars or Champ cars, whatever side of the spectrum you're on with that. Man, these are great quality diecast. They're accurate as all get out from what I can tell. I mean, the chassis detail, fantastic. Wow. I am floored. I'm just completely happy with this purchase. It's one of the best purchases I've made in a very long time. Could not be happier. Fantastic pieces of diecast. These are not leaving my collection ever. I'm going to hold on to these till the day I die. It's so nostalgic for me as a guy who became an IndyCar fan. I mean, I was, 3 years old in '96, but these cars just captured the imagination of me. They were so fast, so cool, they sounded great, they looked great, all that stuff. And these two cars capture that so well. They capture the spirit of that, and it's hard to believe it was 20 years ago when these cars were racing. They still look modern. Just fantastic. I'm so happy. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and all that good stuff if you enjoyed this. Hopefully I can do more Minichamps, IndyCar 118s, and maybe some 143s coming up because, again, these are really hitting the nostalgia bone. Very, very good for me. And it just, look at them. Look at these cars. They're so cool. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, subscribe, and all that good stuff. This is David Lane on YouTube, and I will see you in the next video.